Oscar, Beth, Sydney. Beth I've known for 30 years now. She still owes me a margarita. But I want to kind of deflect a little bit from myself and talk about some broadcasters that I think everybody should really think about. Mark Grubb's group, the Ranch Radio Group, Jam Broadcasting in Kerrville, and what an amazing bit that they have done to keep the people of Kerrville and Central Texas informed during the floods of recent. I cannot imagine the emotions that they have gone through in order to get information, disseminate information from local police, state police, and the public who are calling in. And I just want to say to them, hell of a job. And I appreciate everything you do. This is what makes local radio. There's always talk about relevancy in local radio, and this is what we do. This is what local radio is about, and you just can't get that from Spotify. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, our next award, it's not one that we present every year. It is the Distinguished Service Award. It honors an ally whose contributions to TAB's mission foster meaningful and long-lasting advances for the industry. Stacey Allen's service to Texas broadcasters fits that bill like none other. One of the preeminent attorneys working in Texas media law, Stacey is a formidable advocate for public policy, advancing open government, news gathering, and free speech. He works closely with TAB's board and leadership as general counsel and as a legislative consultant. He advises member stations routinely with various inquiries on state law and regulation. Stacey's expertise, his easy manner, his disarming approach foster trust and confidence of lawmakers and their staff. Happy to work behind the scenes, he never hesitates to step into the glare of public testimony where he has routinely deconstructed with precision the ill effects of proposed legislation. So one of the most seasoned lawmakers in Texas Capitol once shrank into his chair apparently after Stacey's testimony, quipping, "Well, I don't think I like my bill so much after all." So that tells you how effective Stacey is. On more than one occasion, he has proved to be the secret weapon in preserving the state's anti-SLAPP law. That's the most powerful free speech protection that most Texans don't even know that they have. So to be sure, Stacey Allen is an attorney that you want on your side. And I know that Texas broadcasters are very happy that he is here on their side. TAB's 2025 Distinguished Service Award recipient is Stacey Allen.
Suitcase to pull out my suit and shirt, I realized I'd accidentally taken a shirt with French cuffs. I've got two of them. This is a hard accident to happen. I have no cufflinks. Now, that militarizes my brilliant and beautiful wife, Barbara Allen, and my beautiful and brilliant daughter, Taylor Allen, and they came up with two solutions that worked. One was for Barbara to donate her diamond studs from her earrings. The other one was to use these blue bands to hold the shirt together. And sometimes what I do for TAB and you is a little like that, holding the shirt together. I want to formally thank Jackson Walker, and you heard their names. My buddy Bob Latham is here, that have been honored before this and have made this work that I do now possible. Michael and Oscar, as you know, are brilliant lobbyists effectively, and influencers. Back hall, back room, they know how to do it. When they need an 800-pound gorilla to go in and argue for the law or the statute in front of a hostile legislative committee and an even more hostile bill author, who are all sitting right there, right in front of you, that's when they call me. So that's what I do. I'm a litigator. It's what I do. So this year, we had a bunch of bad bills come through. They were flying around like skeet clays. Unbelievable this year. Everybody was trying to attack the statutes that protect our right to know from your newsrooms. So, with that, I will say thank you. You make a huge difference. When Oscar asks you to call a legislator from your district about a bill, that matters a lot. That person may have already been embarrassed by me, but it matters a lot. So please respond when he does, and I thank you all. Thanks, I really appreciate this.
Bands get him into the water park access. You know where he's headed after this. The water slide. All right, our next award is named in honor of TAB's 2009 Chairman of the Board, Jason Hightower. Owner, operator of KMOO Mineola, Jason sadly passed away, as many of you know, in 2009 after battling brain cancer. He was only 37. But at that young age, and in just 10 years, he had built a powerhouse radio station and risen to the top of the spot of TAB's board of directors. Now tonight's winner demonstrates a similar proficiency for enterprise and innovation in serving their station's audiences and advertisers. Ashley Dansby began her radio career in 2002 at KMHT Marshall. Now, after a brief stint with Clear Channel in Oklahoma City, she then returned to KMHT and became general manager. Her staff credits her as being always the first to arrive and often the last to leave. At KMHT, you can find her installing equipment, selling advertising, news gathering, producing commercials and other content, as well as meeting with policymakers. Ashley understands that every aspect of radio, and she truly gets what it takes to have a thriving local station in today's broadcasting climate. And Jason Hightower would be proud of this year's winner, Ashley Dansby.
I am thrilled and honored to be lessons were tough. I look back sometimes and cringe a little bit, and probably was a pain in the butt a few times, but I needed every one of those lessons, and I thank you so much for them. To Jerry and Wanda Hansen, I can't thank you two enough. You hired me in 2002. You have watched me grow up in your radio station. You have trusted me to do big things and continue to trust me to do big things, and I would not have this career without you. You two mean more to me in this business and this industry than I could ever express. I love you very, very much, and I thank you so much. And I thank each of you today for this honor. It is truly a thrill. So, thank you.
Beautiful speech. All right, a broadcast engineer since 1975. Paul Easter has owned 5 broadcast engineering companies during his career. At Fort Bend Broadcast Services, Paul strives to keep his clients operating with the latest technology from the studios to the transmitter site. He and his wife Anita are a powerhouse team. They do field work all across Texas, but they still take time to mentor young engineers, and we all know that the industry needs those. People call TAB to ask for a contract engineer. Well, Paul is one of the first recommendations. This award is named for longtime broadcaster and engineer George Marty. He was known for his outstanding service to the industry and the community. And Paul Easter has kept that legacy going. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to present the 2025 George Marty Award for Engineering Excellence to Paul Easter.
I see a lot of friends, and I'm really glad to see. I love this convention. Thank you, Natalie, for the nice introduction. I started my career in Lubbock at Monterey High School, where they have 2 years. There you go. Another alumni. So I've been doing broadcast engineering for about 50 years. So at Monterey, we had a class that produced quite a few broadcast engineers. Hopefully, some of you know them. Don Hackler, Kyle Wesley, who worked with Disney Radio for quite a while, Steve Bumpus, Brian King, Chuck Wilson, Anthony Garza in Lubbock, and Dale Tanner, who later went on to be a pilot for American Airlines, which I'm pretty proud of. We later adopted a gentleman who a lot of us know named David Stewart. Rest in peace. So, at the high school, we built a real live licensed radio station. It was built mostly out of gear that the local engineers were tired of working on. So, that made it a great learning environment and a great place to make mistakes because there was no real money involved. So, I'm very lucky to have my wonderful wife, Anita. We've been together over 40 years. We met at a radio station in Monahans. It was then called KVKM. We met in 1983. I showed up at KVKM because a local oil field crew had hit a geiger for one of their towers and brought it down. The guy supervising the guys driving the big truck said, well, they were fired before the tower hit the ground. I said, I don't think it works that way, really. So I want to thank Oscar, Beth, and her staff. They put on a wonderful show. I'm very proud of the TAB and the show they put on here. I think this is by far the best state broadcasters organization. Of course, we have here in Texas, we have the advantage of geography and lots of stations, so that helps make us strong. One last thing I got to say, let's all work together and try to save AM radio. when FEMA said it was an essential part of our emergency backbone, that would be the end of it. But it's still a political football, unfortunately. Thanks to all of you. Have a great show. Well, it's almost over, but have a great rest of the show.
Thank you, Paul. All right, our next award, Radio Broadcaster of the Year, goes to a special local owner-operator in his hometown of Gainesville. Steve Eberhardt has been in the industry now for more than 50 years. He spent 20 years at ABC Radio Network in Dallas. He then purchased his station, KGAF-AM, in 2008, snapping up an FM translator just a few years later. Now that's the same station apparently where he got his very first job at the ripe old age of 16 years old. So, knowing the value of live and local radio, he used his big city expertise to bring a major market sound to the small community near the Oklahoma border. A newsman and a public servant at heart, he jumps into action when tornadoes threaten, and he routinely connects often distant lawmakers with their Cook County constituents. He's mild-mannered, but he's resolute. He's a powerful advocate before state lawmakers, members of Congress, U.S. senators, and governors. Please join me in welcoming TAB's 2025 Radio Broadcaster of the Year, Steve Eberhardt.
Thank you very much. This really means a lot to me. Thank you to Oscar for believing in me, making me part of the association's board of directors for all these years, and for everybody that made this possible, thank you very much. I'm very proud to accept this award. I'd like to first thank my wife, Susan. Without her support, I definitely would not be here today. She's on a business trip to Chicago, so she couldn't be here today. Thanks also to our children, Jenny and Johnny, who are adults and thank God have jobs and couldn't make it today. They continue to inspire me as much as I hope I inspire them. I often tell people that I was a city boy raised in the country. I grew up on a family farm from a family of 7 children. I'm the youngest, 5 older brothers and a sister. My dad was killed in the line of duty in the U.S. Army when I was 3 months old, never knew him. My mom raised all of us by herself. She moved us to a farm north of Lindsay, Texas, population 250, when my dad died and I was 3 months old. We lived next door to my aunt and uncle's farm. I grew up on a farm. When I was 12, it was my turn to begin working on the farm. How does that relate to radio? Well, here we go. I would sit out on the tractor in the scorching Texas 100-degree heat, baling hay, combining, and all the other stuff that goes with farming. I was paid $5 a day. After my first week, I went to the local Gibson's Discount Center. Anybody remember those? Bought a transistor radio to keep me company during the long, hot, boring summer days in the fields. I'd listen to the reigning top 40 radio giant from Dallas at the time, the mighty 1190 KLIF in Dallas. They made Glendon Station. A few of us remember that. John Butler was one of the DJs there. While other people my age were fans of the music that was being played, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and all of that, I started to pay attention to the DJs that spoke in between those records. I admired what they did. Working in a studio playing records for a living? That sounded a lot better than sitting on a tractor in 100-degree heat. It was right there that I decided, man, that was the life for me. Nothing against farming. I have the utmost respect for those folks. But even at the age of 12, I knew that was not going to be the life for me. I knew right then and there I wanted to be in radio. And a few years later, at the ripe young age of 16, I was at the local hometown radio station where I'd go on the air and imitate all the great DJs I listened to on the radio. I started at the station that I now now own. A full circle moment for sure. I've been fortunate to work with some of the best in the business, especially during my decade working at KVIL in Dallas for 10 years during that time for legendary Ron Chapman. He hired me on the spot at the tender age of 20 to work at what then was the most admired radio station in the industry. It was a tough but a worthy time. He was a tough teacher, he was. But those of us that worked there and paid attention learned the equivalent of a master's degree in broadcasting and many good life lessons as well. Much like the fact that I wouldn't be here today without the support of my wife, who's given me a life I could never have given myself. I wouldn't be here today without the early guidance of my mentor and personal friend, Ron Chapman, who taught me literally everything I know about radio. He once told me, you know, not everybody gets to do this. That's a phrase that has stuck with me all these years, and how true it is. Such an honor, really. We have the ability to touch people's lives and help them, inform them, keep them safe, and hopefully entertain them. We get to do a lot of great peripheral things because we're in broadcasting. A lot of freebies, a lot of concert tickets, a lot of things like that that not everybody gets to do. I am a lucky guy. I still do what I love to do. Running the radio station, programming it, keeping the business alive, which is the most challenging part, waking up each morning with the challenge of crafting each break I do on the air. I'm aware after 50 plus years of doing this, it's unusual to still have the passion for what I do. The truth is, I still listen to the radio and smile when I hear a perfectly executed break, whether by a DJ news person or advertisement or whatever is on the radio. The truth is, after all these years, in many ways, I'm still like that little kid on the tractor all those years ago. I love listening to great radio. I love creating great radio. I love radio.
Well, with 31 years on network news and in major markets, Walt Maciborski is a regional Edward R. Murrow winner, an Emmy winner, and a Barbara Jordan Award-winning journalist. He is on a mission to make shows dynamic and to also showcase new technology and to encourage fellow anchors, reporters, and producers. Walt is always willing and eager to work with everyone at the station, demanding the most from himself, but also sharing his love for the craft of news gathering along the way. Now, whether he's volunteering on a project for the station or on his own in the community, Walt is dedicated to making Austin a better place. We're all grateful for that. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 TV Broadcaster of the Year is Walt Maciborski.
Thank you, Natalie. You know, I need a co-anchor. My GM and news director here. Maybe we can make a deal tonight. I thank God for blessing me to do a job that I love. I mean, we get to do this every day and tell stories that make impactful change in our community. I don't have a big speech because I didn't load it into the prompter. If I could do that real quick. I have a lot of people to thank. Oscar, Beth, thank you for this show. TAB and everything you do for the broadcasters. It's amazing. Beth Morgan and Catherine. My GM, Amy Villarreal, thank you so much for leading with passion and grace. It's an honor to follow in your footsteps with this. And onwards. My news director, Rob Cartwright, we've been in the trenches for a long time. Look at that, he does everything. Cameraman, news director. to be a leader in the newsroom. You know, I think the role of the anchor has changed. You're not just reading the news anymore. There's so many aspects of making a successful station and getting your hands dirty, and Rob lets me do that. And he gave me the ability to do a tech franchise called Tech This Out, and I'm working on a true crime podcast as well, so thank you, Rob, for that. And we all know the success between broadcasters in this business is our support system. I have my entire support system at that table. I want to thank my wife for learning the art of being a solo parent at the soccer fields, staying up late after breaking news, changing vacation plans because of the floods. I couldn't do it without her. And she loves nachos and wine at midnight after a long day. And I have my 3 Anchorman boys over here, Dylan, Mason, and Austin. I see Austin over here. See him with the camera? Put your hand up. This is a big deal. It's his 19th birthday, and he came here to be with me. Thank you, Austin. 3 quick things that I think make all of us a success, and I just want to share with you. Everyone in this room, you're great mentors. You know, I started in this business because I got cut from my baseball team in high school. I wanted to be Steve Garvey, and I was destroyed. So I said, how can I be a broadcaster or close to baseball without playing it? I said, well, I'll go into sports. So that sports evolved into me turning down Vince Scully, which I think is probably a sin. And I would do play-by-play with the Dodgers in my living room. And then that evolved into news. I got a job at ABC News, and everybody said, you'll never make it in this business. But my mentor, Brian Rooney, the son of Andy Rooney on CBS, he was a correspondent for ABC News. He took me under his wing and he said, this is how you make a resume tape. This is how you shoot stand-ups when you're solo, because you're going to be solo, a one-man band in Poughkeepsie. And you need to go to the small market. You can call me anytime for help. And he did. And that got me through my first days in Medford when everything closed at 9. I couldn't get a Starbucks and everybody just went to bed. I said, hey, Brian, what do? I want to go back to LA. And he said, hang in there, you'll get a job. So mentors are key. The other thing, why we're in this room is we're survivors with technology. We embrace it, we use it to make us better journalists, and we have great stories across more platforms. You know, I started with 3/4-inch tape, now everything's in the cloud. And it makes us better. We need to embrace it. But we also need to hold on to the North Star that never changes, and that is seeking truth and holding the powerful accountable. And that is not popular right now, but that's okay. It's our job to hold people accountable. And finally, the team. I can't do it without the producers, the writers, the photographers. Hey, Jalen, thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome.
Building our stories in the newscast takes a lot of people. You all know that. And we're doing more with less. So I can't be up here. This is a shared award because I can't be up here without the team. So I want to thank you for that. I leave you with 3 things that one of my other great mentors shared with me. Her name is Carol Neeland. I was one of her last on-air hires at KView in Austin. She told me 3 things that'll serve me well in this business as a broadcaster. Number 1, the mic is always hot. Don't forget that. The second one, I did a couple stories and she brought me in the office and she says, the story is not about you. I keep hearing her voice on social media. Nobody cares what shoes I'm wearing today. Well, just do the stories. And finally, it's a profound privilege to do what we do. Don't ever take it lightly. Thank you.
Well said. We are so excited now to present TAB's Station of the Year Awards. These honors recognize a member radio and television station for overall excellence and service during the past year.